They're doing all of that. It's not working. You have to literally get the law enforcement on the side of the population. If you don't get law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies, and state law enforcement agencies to work alongside the National Guard deployment to literally start apprehending ICE agents, people are going to go, you're not defending.
But I have a strong statement here for our federal government. Minnesota's justice system will have the last word on this. It must have the last word. As I told the White House in no uncertain terms this morning, the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this, and the state will handle it, period. Let me say something else, and this is critically important. All of us understand what happened this morning and the tragedy of it, and my deepest sympathies to the family of a 37-year-old Minnesota resident, a lawful firearm concealed permit carrier, something that I've been lectured to by Republicans for decades, that is not only your right, it's your duty.
Yeah.
We know that the potential to further inflame tensions is high. And to Minnesotans, there's a difference.
Dude, come on. Stop trying to tell the public to calm down. They're gonna rebel against you too. You don't see the moment. You're not meeting the moment, Tim.
Meeting violence with violence. Minnesota and our local
oh my God, they spend so much time on the reaction.
Everything possible to de-escalate. Local media has reported extensively on the cooperation to de-escalate this situation. Donald Trump, I call on you once again. Remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen violence from federal agents again and again and again. But in contrast to that, on these frozen streets, what you witnessed yesterday was the best of Minnesotans, peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And I attended in the church basement hundreds of Minnesotans from all faith packing care packages for families that have been ripped apart. Despite the horrific acts by this federal government, Minnesotans are standing up for the rule of law. They're protesting loudly and urgently, but peacefully. It must stay that way, Minnesota. Minnesotans are witnessing, and we're creating a log of evidence for the future prosecution of ICE agents and officials responsible for this. They're helping their neighbors. They're walking their kids to school. They're feeding families. I salute their courage and their restraint. And I call on all Americans to see the decency that this state is exhibiting and the horrific cruelty, unprofessional, absolute abomination that is passing for what these ICE agents are doing on our streets. They think they can provoke us into abandoning our values. Well, they're dead wrong. We'll keep the peace, we'll secure the justice with our neighbors, and we'll see this occupation ends. Minnesotans and Minnesota law enforcement that continuously is being denigrated by this administration will continue to be the adults in the room, the professionals in the room, the decent human beings in the room that will keep the peace. With this, I'd like to turn it over to Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson to update you on the situation as we know it.
No shot. DHS is investigating it? Come on, dude. Come the on.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Bob Jacobson, Commissioner of Public Safety for the Department
Local law enforcement needs to start arresting these people. You need to start doing crazy shit. You need to get the National Guard and the local law enforcement with the National Guard's backing to go and apprehend these criminals, dude.
I want to pause and remember what
no
get
shot.
Lost in this
you
moment.
need to detain these guys.
Man died. His family and friends are feeling unimaginable heartbreak and trauma. And I know Minnesotans and I know our community will rally around this man's family and friends to support him. I also understand clearly that people are upset. They're scared, they're confused, and I want to assure you that this state's public safety officials and our local law enforcement partners are doing everything in our power to get answers, to help return a sense of normalcy back to our communities.
I don't think these guys understand. This is something I stressed to Keith Ellison yesterday. They're losing the public's confidence in them. And when they lose the public's confidence in them and the public starts thinking, okay, well, if I see an ICE agent, they're going to kill me. They're going to take matters of self-defense in their own hands. You don't want that happening, okay? You don't want that happening at all. You guys need to take action. You need to take action right now. You need to detain people. You need to start arresting the ICE agents. You have to start arresting the ICE agents before this gets further out of hand. There is a reason for law and order in this country and in every country, okay? Law and order plays a formative role in the fabric that holds society together, okay? Once that goes away, it's pure anarchy, it's pure chaos. You cannot be this scaredy cat in this moment, okay? You have to protect your constituents, you have to protect your citizens, you have to protect your neighbors. If you don't do your job, and if the local law enforcement is actually too busy gassing the people that are protesting rather than actually helping them, rather than actually apprehending the ICE agents that are their neighbors, it's over. It's going to be over. I keep warning. No one is listening.
Well, I spoke twice this morning shortly after I received the call of this. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to, and second call is with no uncertain terms that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence.
Then what the hell are you going to do? You
I
do
have
something.
A lot of confidence that
do
the
something.
of the
Stop having confidence in Minnesotans. Minnesota nice. God damn it, Tim Walz, such a cowardly cuck.
After all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said, under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they stand up for what's right and stand up for the rule of law and stand up for human decency, and that's the moment.
So then just a follow-up, because then if that is not the case, what are the people of Minnesota supposed to do who are in the middle right now? Because if they stonewall and you're trying to investigate, is that forcing?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And look, I speaking to the people of Minnesota right now, I hear that scream from you, and I'll continue to plead and ask you for peace. And I know the answer is you ask us for peace and we give it, and we get shot in the face on the streets coming out of a donut shop. We cannot give them what they want. I don't know how to say this in so many terms, to watch the madness that we've witnessed over this last week coming out of the White House and what it's doing here.
Dog,
My confidence is,
they haven't been.
Minnesotans,
They haven't been.
Said,
the protests have been incredibly lawful up until this moment. This is the peak of civil disobedience. Organized, okay? Show of force, peaceful. They're doing all of that. It's not working. You have to literally get the law enforcement on the side of the population. If you don't get law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies, and state law enforcement agencies to work alongside the National Guard deployment to literally start apprehending ICE agents, people are going to go, you're not defending us. We've been doing the peaceful thing, and they're shooting us in the face. They're shooting us in the face over and over again. What message do you give to the people? What message do you give to the Minnesotans that voted for you and didn't even vote for you but are still frustrated all the same? You tell them you're on your own, okay? It's chaos from that point on. If you want to ensure stability as a local administrator, as a state administrator, you have to start doing real law and order. This message that they keep presenting to neighbors, to their voters, to Minnesotans is you're on your own. You're on your own. Just be peaceful. You're on your own. Just keep it cool. We're going to fix it. But no fixing is coming.
Agents or public safety, state patrol, or Minneapolis on the ground at that crime scene.
Is that an instruction by the federal government, or did you pull your agents out?
What I will tell you, and not to get further, but just the scene, leaving that to Minnesota State Patrol, Minneapolis, we did not have enough resources to be able to hold that ground safely, and we had to leave that scene because of the number of people that were available and the safety of those in the public and the safety of our teams. We were able to get there, but at that time we were not able to hold that scene to do a crime scene investigation. I can't talk any more about those details.
Who is handling the investigation? Not either DHS nor state officials right now.
We'll have more on that, but the BCA is engaged and involved, and we are working at the request of the Minneapolis Police Department on this, on the scene and in this investigation. So we are there, we're available. We want to make sure that we continue to work on this and engage with our
Zero chance
federal
any
law
cop is going to break the
enforcement, but
thin
at
blue
this
line and
point,
arrest the feds for doing what they're doing.
we
No.
don't have anything more to share
No.
about the crime scene. Again,
No.
we're not
It
able
don't
to-
matter.
we wanted to,
It
make
doesn't
sure we
fucking
keep them
matter.
safe, but federal law
First of all,
enforcement left the scene.
there are still plenty of fucking cops that will follow the orders that are given to them. That's number one. Number two, I don't think you understand. Cops are being fucking detained by ICE. There are black and brown police officers that are being detained. Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is fucking complaining that their black off-duty cops are getting detained by ICE. Okay? You're wrong. There's a precedent for this. There's a legal precedent for this. As Keith Olson was explaining, there was a legal precedent for this before the Constitution was written, and certainly a legal precedent for this after the Constitution was written. What I am saying is, what I'm demanding from our agents is a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of legal gamesmanship, okay? I'm expecting them to, at the very least, behave like right-wingers do. Right-wingers, when there is, under the Biden administration, would literally not shy away from doing crazy things, breaking the actual fucking law. Breaking the actual law. Like, Governor Greg Abbott in Texas and Ron DeSantis literally trafficked undocumented migrants across borders. That was illegal, and the administration didn't do fucking dick about it, okay? Just as an effort to make a statement, as an effort to universalize the problem, or to like deliberately make an issue out of undocumented migrants by trafficking them to states without giving them prior notice, prior clearance. Anyway, let's listen to the National Guard here.
To respond in a much rapid manner than if they were not mobilized. So we have a request from the Hennepin County Sheriff to support them, and that is to help them free up additional resources for other work that they need to do. And we have started coordinating with them this morning on that, and that first area of support will be assisting them with their requirement to provide security to the Whipple building. So we'll be helping them there. And then we are in parallel planning with other organizations within the state of Minnesota, to include the State Patrol, the Minnesota DNR, and other local agencies to render assistance if requested.
Can you say how many are now deployed?
I would say that the number that we have is adequate for the requests that we have right now, and I will also tell you that we are bringing more resources that will be able to respond in a timely manner that are not fully mobilized yet, but we are mobilizing more soldiers as we talk at this time. I'd like not to get into specific numbers for an operational security standpoint, but right now we have all the resources to meet the requests that we have.
I would note on this one, too, that we'll be billing the federal government for the cost of the National Guard because they are incurring the costs that are falling on us by their reckless actions. Yes, sir.
You alluded to this earlier, but are you rejecting the narrative that has been presented by federal officials that this man, this 37-year-old citizen of Minneapolis, posed a threat to these agents? And are you rejecting the idea that he played some role with the weapon and leading to
I'm rejecting the rush to judgment within 15 minutes of this, which they did last time. That's why you need to have a fair investigation. And that's why a video can show one thing, but what happened beforehand. But they already will slander this individual. They've already made this the case. And I will just say you will all start to see it, and some of you probably have. There's multiple angles of this. And I'll go back to what we talked about before. They're telling you not to trust your eyes and ears, not to trust the facts that you're seeing in front of them. And at some point in time, your reporting, and I think the reporting this week has been spectacular across Minnesota, that there's not two sides to every story. But in this situation, what I'm saying is we need to have a fair investigation, understanding what's happening, and held accountable. We continue to hear, and we heard it from the vice president, that these folks can do whatever they want. They can have full immunity. And what I'm telling you is they will not. There will be justice to Minnesota. The information. So I won't say where it is, because I think it's irresponsible to make that judgment. But what I see with my eyes and what you're going to see with your eyes makes that pretty hard to believe. And I would imagine as a federal officer, they would have come out and sounded like these professionals sound and say, we need to gather the information, we need to gather all the facts, we need to put them forward, and then we can make some informed decision based on the fact. They've written the narrative already. And the audacity to critique the police chief of Minneapolis after what work that those heroic officers are trying to do, and to be critiqued by this guy, I mean, I don't know, I've said it a lot, but America, as you're listening, enough is enough. Enough is enough of this. End this. End this. And we see them moving to Maine. If you're in Boston, you're in Chicago, you're in Philly, you're in Miami, it doesn't matter. We can't live like this. Our children are in trauma. A 5-year-old, you saw the picture, the bunny hat and the Spider-Man. These are not like some narrative to throw around, to parade around in some coat you had made and act like you're a tough guy or whatever. These are people's lives, and we have rule of law. So I'll let the investigation play itself out. We will do our best to find it, but I don't know, you kill a man and then you just leave your law enforcement, you just leave him. Is there a single case in America's history where you just like walk away and say, I guess that just happened and we're not going to clean up our mess? I'm proud of Minnesotans. I'm proud of law enforcement here and our partners, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I think we have time for another one. So, yes, ma'am. I'm better off to let these guys, the professionals. I have my thoughts.
So the question was,
all hollow,
what are we doing to assist
hollow
federal
words.
law enforcement on getting violent criminals off the street, if I understand the question?
Ridiculous.
State and local law enforcement are always ready and willing and able to arrest violent offenders. We do not stand down from that, no matter where we get that information from. If there are violent offenders or violent criminals or violent crimes, we will investigate and we'll bring those to justice. If the federal government would like to work with us, to continue to work with us as they have in the past, to locate those violent offenders, we are always open to those discussions and always willing to assist. We do not ignore that. We are ready and able, and we do that. All of you, as part of the media, hear us arresting violent offenders all the time. We have not stood down. That is our mission. The federal government is not alone. State and local law enforcement does that every day at great risk to their life, at great risk to the community. We do it because we want a safe Minnesota, and the federal government is not the only one to do that.
Ross wrapping up a press conference right now. You can see emotions were running high. He said he hopes that this is the event that people say enough is enough. Gave a lot of information there.
One thing that I want to point out is something that Caroline talked with you earlier this morning and Reg on set about was the BCA being locked out of the Renee Good investigation, and what will this be like this time around? And we heard that the BCA is engaged in an investigation at the request of MPD, but that, and this was interesting, that DHS...
Bro. I don't think these motherfuckers understand what's going on, okay? I'm talking to the people out here. I'm seeing it with my own two fucking eyes. I've been at the goddamn demonstrations. These people are straight up oblivious, okay? They are oblivious. They do not understand that they are so fucking out of touch and out of step with where people are at right now. They do not get it. They do not get it at all. This is not heading somewhere good, okay? This is heading somewhere very, very bad. This is a fucking powder keg, and it is slated to explode in the absence of local law enforcement, local courts, state prosecutors, local investigators actually trying to restore law and order. These guys' instructions manual, 5-volt power bank. Stop before using any action heat product. Please read and adhere to all enclosed instructions. Fuck. There's like 8 different warnings up in this bitch. You put a battery bank in your socks, dude. Isn't that crazy? Okay, these have very little juice in them right now. You put the battery bank in the sock, and then you press these buttons when the battery bank is in it, and it lights it up. I can't believe the amount of fucking shit that you need to do to exist out here, man. Fucking Murderapolis.
Wrestle to the ground. There's a struggle on the ground that lasts about 20 seconds. At least half a dozen agents surround the gunshots, and agents leave. Now, at no point in any of those videos do we see what appears to be a firearm in that man's hand. Instead, he appears to be holding a phone. There are some angles that suggest that something has fallen out of his pockets or is otherwise recovered by agents during all those struggles on the ground. But from the videos that we were reviewing, Frank, we never see a gun in that man's hands.
Video, the guy that gets pushed that's helping the woman, is that the man who's eventually going to be shot? Because if we can, I'll have our director roll that back again. Is that what you're saying?
To the best of our understanding, yes. Now, of course, we don't have anyone with Minneapolis police or DHS confirming that that is the 37-year-old individual who was shot and killed. But based on all of the videos that we were seeing, these different angles, based on the colored jacket he's wearing, the hat that he's wearing, that does appear to be the man holding a cell phone, not a gun.
So I wonder where the weapon comes from, because here we can see he's trying to hold on to the woman. Then the agents separate him from the woman, and they have him on the ground. So we're watching it here for a second, Connor.
Sure, absolutely.
That's what you're seeing right there is 37-year-old registered nurse. 37-year-old registered nurse Alex Preddy. Okay? Who has a license as a law-abiding citizen, who has a concealed carry permit, okay? And you don't see the gun at all, but what he's doing in that moment is 37-year-old Alex Preddy, the man killed by federal agents today in Minneapolis, appears to have been a registered nurse, an athlete, a son, a brother, with ties to Colorado and Wisconsin, okay? That man died protecting Minnesotans. Protecting Minnesotans from a rogue agency. Protecting Minnesotans from a violent agency that is at the direction of the federal government, assassinating regular people, just Minnesotans in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He died a hero. Fucking insane. He was executed in broad daylight. I realize not a major deal, but it may help people with plans to attend, stay safe, and not risk anything. The NBA game has been canceled. Yes.
You may be able to see going down the fence this barricade that has been somewhat recently put up, as there have been more and more clashes with federal agents here over the past few weeks. More and more people are showing up in these sub-zero temperatures.
Thank you so much, Connor. And we are going to go to Mike Max now. when we spoke to Mike last, Reg and I spoke to him, he had to run away because of the irritants, he and Nick being affected by them. What's going on there now, Maxie?
Yeah, we've recovered from that. And we got tear gas twice today, and man, you can feel it. Cleared out a lot of people, but it's different now out here at 26th and Nicollet. It's almost a pep fest right now, unimpeded, because there are no officers out here. So the tension is gone. Adam, come over here quick. Adam, you've been with us throughout, of course, done an excellent job out here. It feels like right now people are turning their attention towards energy and protesting without there's not going to be any more altercations. It's almost like we've all taken a deep breath here for a minute.
Yeah, and you know what, Maxie, I talked to someone a moment ago who said, we're not going anywhere. This is our intersection now, was the message that they were sending. And so you get the sense that people are going to be here. I mean, if you look behind us, you see the barricades set up. People say they're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, and I don't know where you begin to clean it up. They're talking about the National Guard going to the Whipple building, maybe here as well. But at some point in time, somebody's going to have to just come in here and as calmly and quietly as they can, I guess, try to get everything cleaned up.
Come on, man.
Right now we've got barricades.
What do you mean? Someone's like...
But at least it feels like
That's crazy. That's crazy that he's just local news, man. Always ops. According to the NBC tech editor, Alex Pretty, the man reported to have been shot by ICE in Minneapolis, appears to have previously worked with the federal government at the VA. There's a photo of him on the VA website where he's cited as a part of a medical research team. Kind of creepy looking, not gonna lie. Oh my gosh, so he knew better? Dude, these people are less than cattle. These people are less than cattle. Oh my fucking God. Every day I see a new depravity in the heart and mind, in the hearts and minds of fucking American hogs, dude. Every day there is a new thing that they get up to. Every day I see something new. I hear something new. And it blows my fucking mind. Alex, from our time working together while he was in nursing school, later he moved to ICU working as a nurse to support critically ill veterans. He had such a great attitude. We chat between patients about trying to get in a mountain bike ride together. Will never happen now. Alex Pretty was a colleague at the VA of Dmitry Drakonja. We hired him to recruit for our trial. He became an ICU nurse. I loved working with him. He was a good, kind person who lived to help, and these fuckers executed him white hot rage. These are some of the best people that we have. These are some of the best Americans that we have. And some of the worst Americans are killing them in the fucking streets. And the worst American of all time, Donald Trump, is actively trying to foment more of this violence.
Here as part of a movement than you do anything else, and I think it will continue for some time, but you're not going to see at least the altercations, the tear gas, or the things that we experienced earlier today out here. That's all behind us, I think, at least for now.
You know, the street being barricaded, is there destruction to property, cars beat up or windows smashed out or anything like that that would require the cops to come in? Not
that I saw. We saw one tire was slashed, and it was not, they thought it was an ICE vehicle. It wasn't. It was someone else's. And then we saw, of course, we brought it to you live on TV. Of course, they smashed a couple of windows when they commandeered a couple of vehicles. I think right now people are speaking and they're getting a little pep fest going over there in the form of bullhorns and riling the crowd. If you can just take us right over there, you can see some people up on stage. And they're talking to the audience, and they've got a captive audience right now that wants to hear it, that wants to believe in it, and wants to feel it. And so this is all just organic and impromptu, and they want to be here. The people want to be here. They want to be a part of this. And
yes, local news when a person is murdered.
What the message is.
Bro. Local news when a person is murdered is going to primarily cover, the potential for broken windows. Okay. Not even like active broken windows, like not even a situation where there's like already windows being broken, but like the potential for windows to break. Okay. I need you to understand. Comply or die statements. What is this? If you resist arrest, you will likely be shot. You would think people would know this by now. Go about your day. If you're approached by screaming men who have obscured every identifying aspect, remember what this Tay-Sachs vector says. Lay down and die peacefully. Miller weighed in, another fucking neo-Nazi. Stephen Miller just called Alex Pretty a domestic terrorist who wanted to massacre law enforcement. Alex Pretty was a 37-year-old American, legal gun owner, permit to carry, no criminal record. He's dead. He can't speak. So they're writing the story for him. This is what it looks like when the government gets to label you after they kill you. 100%. Hold on. I need to plug this in real quick. Okay. Sorry. I cannot comprehend it, dude. I just, it's fucking 37-year-old registered that worked at the VA. He died. He was killed trying to protect Minnesotans. You're missing the block party? Okay. I'm not, I have to get set up and shit. Okay. The cold suits you? No, it does not. Yeah, there's already people investigating it, obviously, frame by frame. The man with the green jacket walks up to the melee, reaches in, takes the gun from the man on the ground, and then calmly walks away with the gun ICE found. This was before any shots were fired, which means the man was unarmed and murdered in the streets by ICE, as far as we know. Okay? I don't even know if this is like the actual fucking weapon that he had on him, by the way. Because people are saying that this was actually posted on Reddit. Weekly discussion mega thread, R538 Reddit. I don't even know what that is. Anyway.
Minister.
Hold on.
Frankie's on the
north
south
side.
side. Are you on the north side now, Frankie, or are you on the south side?
South side.
No, we're on the south side. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Frankie.
Okay, good. So as you see, we're right now on 27th. You're looking towards Nicolette. We've just had to, honestly, back up more and more as this just...
Yeah, the photo might be new, but the thread might be an old thread or something. So I don't know if they, like, I don't see a reason to believe that, like, they would fucking find a... I don't see a reason to believe that they would find, like, an old photo and post it. I have no reason to believe that. There's a bug in the reverse image search? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think that they, like, I don't think they found a fucking old photo or whatever. Even though they are goofy as fuck.
Right, and I think that's exactly what the issue is here. We need some time to get this.
Chatters, we watched the video of the girl in the pink coat. We watched it already. I watched numerous different angles already.
The governor and the mayor and the police chief, who I greatly admire, speaking not only about this incident, but about a series of incidents that have accumulated into the frustration that you're hearing. And it's certainly understandable they'd be reacting the way that they're reacting because they want to protect the people in their own communities. I would hope, and I said this earlier, I was on the part of CBP. Bovino said that a man with a firearm approached them, but that doesn't really justify the use of deadly force. And so he basically said that we needed more time to figure that out. But I was hoping that a clearer statement of exactly what the threat was would be forthcoming at the very first press conference, because the city is starting to burn. This is not, you don't have the luxury of waiting days to put this stuff out there. And I'm particularly interested to see the video from that young lady that was behind the melee.
Yeah, looked like in red or something. Yeah, dark pink, kind of walking around.
I'd be searching for her.
So, why wouldn't Greg Bovino say or be more descriptive about whether this 37-year-old waved his weapon, brandished it, pointed it? Instead, he was very careful to just use the word approached an agent. And we've heard from the police chief that he was, a concealed weapon permit carrier. So, and that message had already gotten out before Bovino was in that press conference. So what was not said is very curious as to why he wouldn't be more descriptive.
I totally agree, and I'm hoping it's out of an abundance of caution and wanting to be sure that they have the facts exactly right.
Please address it if Trump, please address it if police show up, Trump will escalate and send the military. Okay, great take, chatter. If police don't show up, then people are inevitably going to take matters in their own fucking hands, and they're going to kill even more people. And when they kill even more Minnesotans, the military is going to be sent in regardless. So either you actually push back by using all mechanisms of law enforcement that you possibly have at your fucking disposal, or you just wait for the military to show up when the inevitable happens. Okay? They can't just keep killing Minnesotans, brother. I don't think you understand this. It's like, it's difficult to comprehend. It is difficult to comprehend what this environment feels like until you're in it. until you are directly facing one of these fucking animals, okay? I'm telling you right now, like even the CNN coverage of it is somewhat disconnected from the reality. I mean, even Tim Walz's statements are disconnected from the reality on the ground. They are talking like there isn't a federal mandated occupation taking place in Minneapolis right now. Okay? There is a federal mandated occupation in the streets of Minneapolis currently that is happening. Okay? That's happening in front of us. It blows my mind that people are talking about, you know, the trash cans that they're putting in front of the fucking area to create blockades or whatever. But like, I don't think you guys understand where this is going. Okay? They are fucking terrorizing the public, man. They are terrorizing the public. As I said here, 37-year-old Alex Pretty was a registered nurse that worked at the VA. He was killed trying to protect Minnesotans. We are letting the worst Americans kill the best Americans. I don't even know if I'll be able to leave tomorrow, like at this point. I don't even know what, you know, everything is up in the air now.
So it's an untenable situation for the governor and the mayor when the federal government isn't cooperating or planning with them.
All right, Commissioner Ed Davis, thank you so much. We're going to take a short break for now as we continue to cover all the developments surrounding.
This won't continue. You know, there's no shot.
I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old.
Yeah.
Angry.
This is earlier in the morning.
Yeah. I mean,
this is from early in the morning. If you want to get a better understanding, right? Like, you think that guy's fucking Antifa? You think that guy's a fucking radical? He might be a radical after today, but he wasn't a radical this morning. Okay.
To a protest before. We heard from a 55-year-old woman from Edina earlier today.
Yeah.
We're hearing from this 7-year-old man. These are people that have gotten to their breaking point in some cases and said, I now need to make my voice heard. I'm no longer going to stay on the sidelines after this now third shooting involving a federal agent here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and again, I think it's a cumulative effect. Started December 1st, the shooting 2 weeks ago, another shooting last week, the shooting now breaking the peace of what we were hoping to be a more calm morning on a Saturday, following a big, you know, civil, peaceful protest yesterday with, you know, 15, maybe 18,000 people, and it immediately changes the narrative and the feel of things, and you can sense the rawness in that man's voice when he, you know, we try to guess, are people angry? Are they passionate? He's crying, and he's like, I'm angry, and there's a sense of that, and you know, it's interesting, those people come from Edina to go down there, and it's the exact opposite thing that the governor and even at 11:30 this morning, the police
This
chief
is before
and.
This is before they shot him. Clear image shows the firearm removed from the scuffle by an agent prior to the shooting. Yes, this is what is confirmed with what we can see. This is the ICE agent that took the gun off of him, or at least this gun that they're showing as his gun. If that is actually his gun, this is the same gun. Okay, it's a SIG P320, and this is before they shoot him, okay? This is before they shoot him. Now, the problem is the gun that they're using is actually a very common law enforcement weapon that I think was the one that was in recent controversy, right? Because it has like a tendency to accidentally discharge. Is that the same gun? I'm not a big gun guy. I know there's like better gun guys in the chat, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who are more knowledgeable, but this is that one, right? Because I remember there was a gun that would literally fucking discharge, like it has a hair trigger and would just like randomly fucking discharge. And it's one of the more common service weapons that law enforcement uses, but I don't know if it's the exact same model. P320 is the standard ICE issue. Yeah. Most new Leos use this. And given that it has the optics on it too, I suspect that this is the one that they claim that they recovered. It's not this gun, it's a P-Series SIG. Wait, this isn't it? Now, the reason why I'm saying that for the record, is a DHS issued weapon to ICE as well. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's like confusion on whether or not it was the gun of another fucking law enforcement agent on scene that they're claiming was his, or if it was actually or if it was actually here. And also, this is, wait, what the fuck? Chatters linked me holding Hasan accountable, Hasan tracker. What the fuck is this? Primary source DHS manual, page 73. My haters are actually now on our side, it seems. That's a strange account dedicated specifically to I suspect stalking me, but I guess in this circumstance they're doing Hasan tracker is a fan. Oh, okay, never mind. There's a lot of accounts like that that are just like psychotic. Oh, never mind. That is probably a fan. Okay, I was mistaken because there's like a bunch of these like psycho. It's a meme account. Never mind. It is a fan. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, that makes more sense that they're like under my tweets posting reliable information rather than trying to find a way to fucking turn this into like a fuck Hasan situation. Here's on page 73. Okay. There's other accounts that are actual haters. I believe that fan is a parody of them. Okay, that makes sense. No, because there's like a bunch of accounts that are like that. I'm a Hasan fan. The account is a meme. Yeah, there are a bunch of, this is irrelevant to the conversation. I can't believe I'm getting derailed here, but there are a bunch of accounts that are named like this, that are stalker accounts that just like try to find anytime anything is going on around the world, like they will use that as an opportunity to be like, this is what Hasan did wrong. And you should yell at him as though I'm like responsible for, October 7 or something, or Russia invading Ukraine. And I mistook this chatter for that style of account. Anyway, I got derailed, but where the fuck is the manual? Oh, okay. So this is the Firearms and Use of Force Handbook and the handguns that they have. The following handguns are authorized to use in a configuration specified by OFPT or OFTP. Glock model 17, 19, 26, Glock models, and the SIG SARs, okay? The SIG SAR DHS P320, FC and SC 9mm caliber, the SIG SAR Sawyer P365, P365X, P365XL, also 9mm caliber. The reason why there's a little bit of confusion right now, SIG Sauer, sorry, not Sawyer. SIG Sauer. The reason why there's a little bit of confusion with the gun is because this is like one of those guns that's one, famous for misfiring. The 320, the P320 is like famous for misfiring, accidental discharges, especially when you drop it, and also because it's like very commonly used by law enforcement. So that's the reason why people initially suspected that this might not even be his weapon. I have no reason to believe that they like dumped a fake weapon on him, especially considering that these guys are still using any and every opportunity to fucking say they deserved it. They would have found a way to say that he deserved execution even if he didn't have a weapon on him anyway. So, but regardless, none of that, as far as like all the information that we have so far, none of that justifies the use of force here. They clearly escalated. And not only do they clearly escalate the use of force, but there's some footage there where, oh shit. There's some footage here where like agents are searching the scene after they shot they shot him, and one of the ICE agents are searching the victim's body, asked, "Where's the gun?" Yeah, you hear it? Right there. It goes, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" I obviously can't show you the footage because unfortunately the victim is right there. But yeah, there's one agent that is doing CPR on the victim, 37-year-old Alex Preddy, and another agent is on top of his body, looking through his holster, and very clearly going, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?"
There's he called for calm and asked for the situation to be peaceful.
Yeah, National Guard has been released.
Okay. Thank you so much, Caroline Cummings, who was there and saw Governor Law speak and asked that very important question. They got some very
now the National Guard is released. The question is
about the scene and how people.
The question is, will they release the National Guard on the protesters, or will they utilize the National Guard against ICE alongside local law enforcement? Because National Guard does not have any authorization to make like detainments. They can't operate as like a like a local law enforcement agency, but they can actually provide cover. Now, this is precisely what Donald Trump wanted the National Guard to do when he federalized them. Provide cover for who? Provide cover for federal agents at the time. Tim Walz, could direct the National Guard to offer local law enforcement coverage as local law enforcement goes out and detains the fucking ICE agents, okay? Yeah, they can assist local police amid growing protests. The problem is, I don't think they're going to utilize the National Guard to actually do the right thing in this circumstance, but instead, they're going to utilize the National Guard against the crowds. Okay? You're wish casting? I'm not wish casting. I'm literally in the process of explaining to you what they could do, what they should do, and what they're not doing. There is a difference between saying this is what they should do, saying this is what they could do, saying this is what they must do, and then telling you that this is what they're not going to do and what they're not doing at all. Okay? At most, they will go to the Whipple building, the federal building where ICE is gathered, the ICE headquarters and the place where they send all of the people that they detain, and protect the fucking Whipple building. National Guard is going to protect the Whipple building. They already said that much. Local and state police can go gas citizens. They aren't doing shit to ICE.
Are making a determination based on the little bit of evidence that we've seen thus
Bro, it's
far.
civil war.
This is a snapshot.
Bro, it's civil war. If local cops try to detain ICE, feds will shoot first, and then it's beyond chaos trouble. You are, again, refusing to understand what I'm saying here. If this doesn't happen, what is the expectation? If this doesn't happen, then there will inevitably be a federal deployment. Okay? There will inevitably be a federal deployment. It will just come after citizens take matters into their own hands. Yes, I watched this one, M-HUD. I watched this video. It's the clearest one yet. I know. And the shooting, I watched this best visuals that we have for the altercation moments prior to escalation. And I believe the shots get fired right at the end there. Here, we'll watch it one more time. This doesn't show the altercation prior. There are numerous different camera angles at this point. This is one of the best ones to show you, like, exactly, especially in the moment, like leading up to the shots being fired. Like, ICE agent pushes like random legal observers around. Here is the victim trying to get in front of one of the legal observers that's like pushed into the. Here's the ICE agent pushing them into the snow, to the pile of snow. He gets in between. He says, "Stop." He puts his hand up. In his hand, you can see, by the way, in his hand, you can see he has a phone, okay? He doesn't have a gun. He just has a phone. This is not a Jonathan Ross style situation. This is the victim, okay? He has a phone in his hand. He puts his hand up. He gets fucking pepper sprayed or maced directly in the face, okay? And he is trying to, while he's actively getting pepper sprayed, he is still putting his hand and his body between the pepper spray. One hand holds the phone, one hand is up, the observer, okay? Putting his body directly in between. Then they pull him off. Then they slam him into the ground. Wait, what? Is it effing? Are we good? We're good, right? He's also literally trying to crawl away at one point. They pull him back into the altercation, yeah. Repeat what you said. There was a visual glitch F. Hold on, we're going to do a delay check right now. Type the number that you see on screen, 3. Type the number 3 when you see me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's glitching. Okay. It was a big F. Okay, hold on. It glitched while I was doing it. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to actually type the number that you see on screen. 4. Type the number 4. 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay. There's an 8-second delay. I'm going to fix ingest right now. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. I'm fixing the ingest. It's going to F now. Okay. This was a delay fix. I believe it worked. I saw the visual bug, chatters. I think that it is no longer delayed. Testing out the delay one more time. Type this number that you see on screen, 5. Are we back? Okay. Good. All right. Delay's been fixed. All right. Let's continue. So this is, like I said, moments before Alex Paredes shot and killed. Everyone typing in the chat gave you 3K more viewers. No, it's because they're reloading because it effed for a second and they thought it was it just tweaked the viewership. It'll go down again. Okay, that's normal. It happens. Like, you can see his face right here. You can see his situation. They're stepping on his head. They're pushing his head down. Okay, he is completely under a fucking pile. He's completely under a pile of some of the fattest Gestapo pigs you've ever seen. Okay? Both of his hands are on the ground. His hands are not reaching for a weapon at all. Both of his hands are fucking on the ground. Okay? Now, take note of the ICE agent, the ICE pig with the gray jacket. His last words were to the woman he was protecting. They were, "Are you okay?" The agent in the gray reaches over the other agents and is seen grabbing something and walking away as the first shot is fired. Okay? So by the time where the first shot is fired, the agent in the gray, the ICE Gestapo agent in the gray, seemingly grabs Alex Pretty's licensed carry arm, his licensed firearm, and walks away as the first shot is fired. Okay? So we know that he is unarmed. I don't know who shoots the first. I don't know what fell on the ground. I think it was either a taser or like the thing that fell on the ground moments prior to him grabbing the gun is I think it might be a flashlight or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe a pepper spray, like a smaller pepper spray. This was almost certainly a negligent discharge leading to a reaction by agents to mag them into a perceived threat. In one of the videos, you can see the agent in the brown top and blue jeans unholster his weapon at about 37 mark of the video. And a few seconds later, he gets pushed from behind by another ICE agent. The push corresponds exactly to the first shot being fired. Which one is it? Oh, you're talking about the one in the green jacket, right? Or no, brown top and blue jeans. I thought it was the one with the green jacket, but it might be. For the record, none of this spells lawful escalation, okay? None of this is self-defense. None of this is a real moment. Even in the most charitable interpretation, you have a bunch of psychotic ICE agents in a moment of frustration and a moment of panic start mag dumping on a person that they have already visually, physically apprehended. You can see that clear as day. There's bad coordination. There's bad communication amongst the ICE agents, and you will see professional trained law enforcement come out in the upcoming days from this point on that will clearly detail that in the most charitable interpretation, and I do not offer the charitable interpretation in this situation, but they will say in the most charitable interpretation that you can physically gather from what you have seen, that this was a moment of panic and chaos, or a bunch of hopped up ICE agents decided to mag dump on a person that they thought had a gun. Maybe they thought that, maybe they knew he had a gun as they were like going through his pockets. And then one of the ICE agents didn't see that he had a gun in that moment and assumed that he didn't have, he had pulled out his service weapon, or not service weapon, sorry, his concealed carry weapon. And they just dumped into him, mag dumped into him. Okay. So even in the most like defending the ICE piglets interpretation of events, it is still absolutely indefensible. Yeah, there was no reason for them to approach the guy. There was no reason for them to even be there. But there's certainly no reason for them to approach this person at all. There is no reason to escalate violently. Every step of the way, Alex Pretty did the right thing. He tried to look out for his neighbors, tried to protect his neighbors, and he was shot and killed for that. Okay? If you watch the girl in the pink POV, I know, I watched it. You can see the guy in the green jacket walk over, point his gun at his head, and start shooting him. I know. There was no reason to mace him at all. That's another part of the story as well. There was no reason for them to push one of the legal observers into the fucking pile of snow, which is the reason why Alex Pretty intervened to try to de-escalate, mind you. Okay? Yeah. He comes in with an empty hand, frame by frame, still an empty hand, as you can see here. Go in, reach for something. You can see this fucking dipshit slamming his head, slamming the victim's head on here while this guy is looking for a gun. And then you can see the gun in his hand from this point on. I know, I watched the drop sight footage of the lady in the pink. I know, I watched it. If 4 federal agents cannot disarm or restrain a single 37-year-old nurse without executing them, they failed the baseline competency of law enforcement. I mean, yes. Even the Roach King isn't defending this? Yeah, because he knows which way the fucking winds are blowing, chatter. And also, this is a man. This is not like a, gay, non-binary, like visibly queer feminist woman or whatever. And also, enough is enough. So he knows where which way the winds are blowing. Wrong, he is defending it. He'll pivot. He'll pivot eventually. This is a great opportunity for him to not cover his best friend being outed as a rapist. So, he'll spend a lot of time on this, and he'll try to find a reasonable middle ground here. He'll try to land on a centrist position. Just wait. Yeah. Which one? Rape tone, dick tone. One of my number one fucking haters. I thought I would at least talk about this stuff for a little bit. That stuff for a little bit. Apparently he had a court case. Because I have a legion. I have a legion of fucking psychotic haters that have been farming right-wing audiences that basically pump out 1 to 2 videos a day. They're all buddies with Asmongold. And they spend every waking moment talking about how I'm the most evil person on the planet. Meanwhile, they themselves have active court cases that have been launched against them by their loved ones, previous lovers, for sexual assault. Rape Tone is one of those guys. Asmongold's best friend, Rape Tone. Podcast co-host, Rape Tone. A person that Asmongold has defended vociferously. Has went through a court case, as far as we know. And I don't... There's an active situation there. I suspect Asmongold will spend very little time talking about that, even though he loves what he considers farming drama. Yeah, he lost his case.
And we don't know how it's going to end.
I will say once again, judge me by my enemies. That's his name? No, we call him Rape Tone, but his name is Tech Tone. He's a sad, pathetic, balding fucking loser.
Still very, very cold. Make no mistake about that. But the crowd here just says they're not going anywhere, and they don't plan on leaving anytime soon.
Adam, we have heard that some local and state law enforcement are sort of backed outside of the perimeter so that they could be called if there was any need for public safety there. Are you able to see that at all, or have you heard that at all, that they're just
not balding, bald
back at this point and allowing this to go on as long as it stays peaceful there?
Derek, one thing to that point, I mean, that's the first I'm hearing of it in the crowd. You can look down 26, you don't see anything there. We were looking north on Nicollet a moment ago, you don't see anything. That doesn't mean that the situation's not being monitored. Last Saturday, we were at Minneapolis City Hall where, someone parted from what we saw on January 6th came and they said they're going to burn a Quran. And as we were out there last Saturday, the one thing people kept saying was, where is police? But then when there was a conflict, police came really fast. And so all that to say, Derek, is that, you don't see anyone out here right now. That doesn't mean they're not watching or not monitoring the situation, right? In Minneapolis, they have many avenues and many means to just keep an eye on the situation. But I can tell you this, Derek, is that if there were to be law enforcement on the scene, I think you would see an immediate confrontation or back and forth, just because of how amped this crowd is still. And we've seen that happen over the course of the last few weeks where the second law enforcement leaves, things die down as far as those conflicts or clashes, but come back in, that can start right back up. And I really do think that there's, just picture for a second, there is 1,000+ people here who are really upset. And, when that
looks like we're losing Adam's signal there right now. He's there, 26 and Nicollet.
A lot of good points. As we move forward, I want to let you know the BCA plans to hold a press conference at 3 o'clock, and then DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is scheduled to speak at 4 o'clock. So,
how are these people? Did it F again? How are these people so neutral when their neighbors are being killed? Is a great question. And the answer to that great question is, this is their fucking job. This is local media's primary duty, okay? This is how local media usually operates. Midas touches on the ground live.
Thank you.
With status quo. Status quo is reporting alongside Midas Touch on the ground. Oh wait, no, this is no longer live. I apologize. I suspect that they're. Oh wait, they just ended their live stream. I guess they just ended their live stream. They're not live anymore.
I'll be on screen right now.
2 weeks ago, and we took that block. We took that block, and then the state took it.
Are you staying or are you flying? I'm staying the day, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now, so I don't even know if I'm gonna fucking stay another day. Mass F? What? New channel is live here.
So, I want to apologize for any profanity you guys right here, but
It's local
here,
news.
So we'll send it back to you.
Yelling some words as you walked up the street. And I want to ask you, you came out here today on a day that is negative temperatures. Why?
Chair sucks?
Well,
Bro, all the fucking local news in Minnesota is kind of bad. I'll be honest with you.
I support the police. I support the military. I love South Minneapolis. And today, this could have just as easily been me that got shot.
Why? Why so?
Because I'm a Minnesota permit carrier. I love donuts. I could have been in the donut shop. I would have came out, and I probably would have filmed ICE because I don't think what they're doing is right. And so I had to come down here and see the spot, and I just can't believe that they shot him in cold blood.
As a Minnesotan, seeing everybody out here today, you said that you were also out on these streets during 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I rode my bike down here after they killed George Floyd, and I cried after what I saw that they did to my neighborhood, and I just pray that everybody stays vigilant but also peaceful, because I don't want to see this happen to my city again. Call in the National Guard, keep things quiet, but get ICE out of here. I don't think ICE belongs here. I've never had a problem in South Minneapolis with immigrants. They feed me, they roof my house.
You think this guy's a fucking radical, guys?
I just
You
don't
think
get
this
it.
guy is
3,000 of
anything
them?
but a median voter?
I don't get it. That's why I'm here.
Can I give you a hug, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think we need more of that we can agree on.
So I'm going to go see the spot and figure out what my next move is.
Okay. You take care of yourself, and that's what's most important today.
right,
Okay,
guys,
thank you very much. Yeah, and Susan Elizabeth has been saying all morning long, I think we can all agree that an individual did die, and so that's why that man was saying earlier that he showed up here. But I do want to show you guys, because we were out here earlier when chemical irritants were deployed, and it was more intense. As
These are
right now you
fucking
can see
human
it's
beings,
a little
dude.
calmer, and that's just where we
They're
are
human
right now.
beings. There's only so much. There's only so much fucking punishment that they'll take. Okay? There's only so much of this cruelty that they will sit idly by and allow to take place. Okay?
And, now we're just seeing people pouring from
There's
all
a point
around.
of no
what
return.
I do want to show you is something we found on the ground, and that's a rubber bullet right there. Just one of the tools that has been used. My photojournalist Ray's just asked me to back up right there. Is that good, Ray? Can you see that right there? Yeah.
Asmongold's calling it a worthwhile mistake. Under different circumstances, I say, who the fuck cares about what Asmongold has to say or think in this process? But the reason why it's important is because he voices the perspective of the fucking hogs. Okay? So that means that the hogs are also fucking looking at the situation and being like, maybe this is a little bit indefensible. The very same people that literally turned around and said, Renee Good, it's good that she got killed, fuck around and find out, are now saying, okay, this might be like a mistake.
Where we are expecting to hear from Drew Evans within about the next 10 or 15 minutes. Hi, Caroline.
Well, hi there, Derek. So, yes, we are going to hear from Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA. This comes after the BCA said earlier that the agents were blocked from accessing the scene by DHS. We did hear from Governor Tim Walz and Commissioner of Public Safety Bob Jacobson, who didn't go into so much detail about the investigation, but did say that, you know, when the agents did arrive at the scene, he made a mention of federal law enforcement leaving the scene, and that it was really hard for them to contain the scene because there were not enough resources there with all of the commotion and the protesters around. So we should hear from Superintendent of the BCA there, and in the next 15 minutes more about the BCA's process and what comes next. Of course, in the past, with the Renee Good shooting, there was a point of contention between the state and the federal authorities. The state said that they were not allowed to access evidence in that investigation. They implored the federal government to reconsider so they could do their own investigation. At this time, BCA is not investigating that incident, and we will soon know what comes next for if and how BCA is investigating this shooting today, guys. I apologize. I might have lost you in my ear there, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, we heard it all. Thank you, Caroline. We'll look forward to that coming up, we believe, at 3 o'clock. So and we'll get more information, be able to ask some questions about that as well.
We have gotten a Republican response from Congressman Tom Emmer, and he put this out on X earlier today. This was before we had the press conference with Bavino. He said the governor and local leaders' rhetoric has empowered criminals and put federal law enforcement lives at risk. It's dangerous and has made the situation in Minneapolis much worse. Unlike my Democrat colleagues, I'm going to let law enforcement conduct their investigation and not jump to asinine conclusions. We are grateful no Border Patrol officers were harmed. So that is another perspective we got right there from Republican leadership from the state.
And we have heard from both Republicans and Democrats today to not rush to judgment in this situation. There are obviously so many questions. There's obviously going to be more pieces of video because we are getting them by the minute and going over them leading up to this incident this morning where a federal agent shot this 37-year-old man, Alex Preddy.
It's interesting they say that, but we've already seen like 3 instances of rush to judgment by either appointed or local officials. So it's strange times because there's such a disconnect on what people are saying versus what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we want to keep it focused on the victim here, of course, Alex Preddy. We know that this is, you know, I say the person who died. You know, we don't know what happened leading up to it. We know that federal officers say this person showed a gun. We are told by Minneapolis police chief that this was a lawful carrier. We're also told that Alex is an ICU nurse. You can see right there, it looks like, just like you predicted, Frank, that there's a memorial popping up to remember Alex. And it looks like mourners standing right there where he lost his life, which is the center of people's interest today all around the country. People trying to figure out what happened in this case. But you can see the crowd is gathering. And, you know, we saw so much mourning for Renee. It looks like the mourning has started here again. Something we are waiting for, more answers. You know, we've heard from so many different agencies so far about what happened. And we're going to hear from the state police, the BCA.
Are you gonna wear double socks today? The toes get cold fast. Yeah, I have triple socks. I have heated socks. I'm charging them right now.
To the Hennepin County Jail website, see who was booked, see when, the roster.
This morning I ordered heated socks. I ordered heated gloves. I got heated gloves, heated socks. I got another balaclava as well. That's like a little bit, it might be better. It's like a Jordan Fly Warm hood. I don't know if it's like better than what I have currently. The one that I had before. It might not be better. I think the one I have is better. This is too tight. Because the one I have, yeah, this is too tight. It's like fucking up my nose. I can't even breathe in this. But yeah, I got a plate carrier as well with a press badge on it that I got from security. So don't make your feet too hot because they'll sweat. Your feet will freeze quicker. Yeah, I know.
26 in Nicollet, especially right here. The one right here, there's one directly next to us.
People are still going to think you're an ICE agent, man. I know.
Next crossroads as well. There have been dumpsters set up, tray tables, and different things being set up to kind of keep cars from coming down here. And as the cars have been driving past,
I have
some just kind of drive on their way. Some have honked and showing their support. as they go past here. But this is kind of what it looks like, and I'm assuming these are tables probably from a nearby restaurant. If I had to guess, trash cans, there's a picnic table. You know, there's a lot of restaurants around here, so I would presume that's where a lot of these are coming from. But yeah, peaceful is how I would say this is right now. People are talking, kind of expressing their thoughts with each other. You hear them cheering right now. As the speaker just said something, I wasn't able to hear exactly what they said, but listening, standing up with each other, and peaceful, I think is the word to kind of encapsulate what we're seeing right now.
We know that later on tonight there is a vigil scheduled for 5 p.m. Are these folks planning to be out there until that point? Do you have any idea from the people who are there sort of what their plan is for the remainder of the day?
That I do not know. Is it the MIRAC press conference I think I saw?
Yeah.
Yes. I've seen some folks with the logo on the hats that they're wearing. So
this one is
I'm not
fucking
entirely
nuts.
Sure.
Like
I can
this.
find someone wearing one of those. There's quite a few of their folks walking around.
This turtleneck is completely insane. 3-layer system, wicking base, insulated puffy / fleece, hard shell. No, I'm doing 4 layers. This is what is it? Montclair. It's like fucking insanely insulated. I got these in. I got this in Japan. It's like crazy. And it's I don't know what it is, but I think it's like wool or something. The BCA Force Investigations Unit has been requested by Minneapolis police to investigate the morning's federal agent shooting. Our agents and crime scene personnel attempted to access the location, but were blocked by DHS. Jesus fucking Christ.
Crime scene personnel attempted to access the location, but were blocked by DHS personnel at the scene. So again, we're going to hear from the BCA in about 5 minutes, but some of these news conferences.
4 layers, you gonna sweat like a motherfucker?
We'll take you to that just as soon as it is available. I also wanted to point out, we just got a statement from the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. They released a statement on the death of Alex. Deeply concerned by this morning's reports that a federal law enforcement operation in Minneapolis resulted in the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by federal agents. According to local officials, the man was legally armed, a firearm was recovered at the scene, and he is believed to have been a lawful gun owner and permit to carry holder. Many critical facts remain unknown. That is the truest thing we can say right now. We do not yet have an independent account of what initiated the encounter or what triggered the use of deadly force. Despite widespread speculation regarding intent, there has been no evidence produced indicating an intent to harm the officers. We are calling for a full
hand warmers and body warmers for mutual aid.
Both state and federal authorities. Every peaceable Minnesotan has the right to keep and bear arms, including while attending protests.
As long as the first 2 layers are thin, he's fine.
Exercising their First Amendment rights. These rights do not disappear when someone is lawfully armed, and they must be respected.
You really need to get the Picker Protective Services if you're going to live stream a location. The pigs might stream snipe you.
Gun Owners Caucus. That is their statement that they released just a short time ago.
And we are getting
yeah, we got some mutual aid too.
We have heard from some.
On the one hand, I got mad packs for body warmers,
responding not only
and a
to
bunch of
shooting,
hand warmers
but
as
to
well.
Some of the statements that Governor Walz and others have made. Let's see if we can pull those up. This is Tom Emmer, congressman who represents a central Minnesota district. The governor and local leaders' rhetoric has empowered criminals and put law enforcement's lives at risk. It's dangerous and has made the situation in Minneapolis much worse. Unlike my Democrat colleagues, I'm going to let law enforcement conduct their investigation and not jump to asinine conclusions. We are grateful no Border Patrol officers were harmed. I believe we also have a statement from Lisa Davis.
Dog, that's your fucking constituent, man. That's your constituent you're talking about. He said he's grateful that fucking no ICE agents were harmed. Brother, are you grateful that one of your fucking voters was killed? Like, what's wrong with you?
Were able to peaceably demonstrate, or peacefully, I should say, demonstrate without a single incident.
Yeah, ICE is now responsible for 66% of the homicides in Minneapolis this year.
Confrontation, including the attempted disruption of law enforcement operations and throwing of dangerous objects. These dangerous tactics put lives of officers and the public at risk. We can have protest. We can have lawful monitoring of ongoing law enforcement operations. But it's going to take leadership at all levels of government to turn down the temperature. I spoke earlier this week with Vice President Vance, who expressed both publicly and privately a sincere desire to foster better cooperation between the federal government and state and local officials. But that cooperation is what has been called into question all day long by the BCA and Minnesota officials who are saying that they are unable to work with the FBI to investigate this. Let's also hear from Senator Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat. There has been another shooting involving federal agents in Minneapolis, and I'm working to get more information. I will update as soon as possible. To the Trump administration and our Republicans in Congress who have stood silent, get ICE out of our state now.
Also to point out, she is running for governor.
As well.
Or she's filed paperwork to run as governor, not official.
All right, here's Senator Tina Smith, another Democrat representing Minnesota in the...
It's crazy. It's just like ICE keeps murking unarmed civilian, disarmed. The administration keeps saying they deserved it and more of it should happen. And you got local fucking politicians being like, hey, guys, turn the temperature down. Bitch, the admin is not turning the temperature down. The fuck are people supposed to do?
What are you seeing out
Just
there
eat it
right
every
now?
day?
Did you
Hey,
hear the
guys, turn the
chanting?
temperature down.
It
Just
seems
fucking comply and die. Comply and die.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize for any profanity you might hear. It's kind of intermixed within the chanting, but nothing has really changed since we last checked in. I haven't seen that.
Here, let's hear what... This is the ongoing demonstrations by detainees over conditions at Dilley. Incredible courage from these families and children. You can tell by the sound of their voices that so many of those shouting Libertad and let us go are children. This is at the Dilley facility where there's a crowd forming outside of it as well, where like all the detained are. Look.
I'm outside. I'm outside. It doesn't say out here. And I've just been ordered to leave the premises. I've just been ordered to leave the premises, and she's yelling at me right now. So I'm going to head back to my car and try and keep you abreast of the situation.
This is Stephen Miller's design, man. This is what we're doing. This is the United States of America currently in 2026. This is where we're at. We got children in concentration camps, and we got those Nazis running around in the streets trying to fucking kidnap people. And in the process of kidnapping people, good neighbors are saying, nah, you can't do that. Good neighbors that are fucking putting their bodies on the line and getting killed for it. And then the fucking Fourth Reich, led by stupid ass Donald Trump, is justifying those executions. Turn the fucking temperature down. How do you turn the temperature down when the administration is turning it up? Yeah, here it is.
From now, we are going to hear, we got another situation here. Let's just listen in for a moment.
This was the one we saw already.
Stop! Look out! Down! Just chill. Okay. I'm fine. I didn't breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old. Fucking angry. Oh, fuck off. I think I'll need it, but we'll try it.
Wow. What a scene in an American city.
Clearer look. I never see the man touch his firearm, and it looks like he's disarmed before being shot. Yeah, what stands out to me here is that Pretty is posing almost no threat at all before it happens. In fact, he's helping one person who's hurt, then goes to help another person who's pushed, and then appears to be sprayed right in the face before it all transpires. This is not, this is, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is just so fucking inappropriate.
What occurred was our team responded to the scene, and I was in contact with federal authorities to inform them that that was going to occur and that we were responding to the scene in Minneapolis. When our team arrived, they were blocked by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security from accessing the scene. We worked with them and were in contact with the FBI, trying to attempt to access the scene so we can gather evidence to understand what occurred and work through this process. Our team also secured a search warrant for the scene, which is an unusual move in a public area like that, but we did that attempting to have judicial approval to enter this scene to gather evidence. We were once again blocked by federal authorities to go in and do that scene examination. We have a long history of working side by side with the Federal Bureau of Investigation on all types of cases. That's true in other high-profile incidents that you've seen in officer-involved shootings, and that remains the case that we do and will be going forward. They're excellent partners to us as an organization, But unfortunately, in these recent events, others outside of the state are making decisions that that does not occur. So we will continue to investigate this case and others that we have recently been involved with, but I would be remiss if I didn't state that it will be difficult to obtain all of the evidence and information contained without cooperation. It is my understanding at this time that this case is now being led by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations as an investigation into this matter, and not the FBI leading that at this point in time. As the FBI gathered information and conducted a crime scene evaluation, they left. After they left, we were attempting to move in to do our own scene examination once we can access the scene, but federal agents that cleared the scene, as was previously said, the state and local police that were
arrest them
on
for
scene
impeding the investigation. Arrest them for impeding the investigation. Get the National Guard down there to back up the local law enforcement and arrest them for impeding the investigation. What the fuck are we doing? What do you mean we can't follow our local laws? There's never been a moment in the history of the United States where local jurisdiction has been superseded like this aggressively, this flagrantly, in this clear-cut violation of what is supposed to happen. Okay? Yes, I know there was a visual glitch. It's fine. It was a minor visual glitch. Okay? Follow the fucking law. Follow the law and prosecute the fucking wrongdoers if they are impeding in an investigation. It wasn't a massive F. It was a baby F. Like, what are we doing? I know it's going to be chaotic. Legally speaking, I know it's going to be fucking chaotic. Okay? Local law enforcement, that is ICE too? No, it isn't. It is not. It clearly is not. Okay? If they don't do this, it's going to get much, much worse. Prosecute the fucking ICE agents. The problem is these guys are mobilizing the fucking state law enforcement or National Guard against the public, not at the behest of the public. Trump on Minneapolis shooting, mayor and governor are inciting insurrection. The more Trump pushes like this, by the way, the more Tim Walz caves. And the more Tim Walz caves and doesn't do what's right, the worse it's going to get. Okay? You're basically saying the federal government can come in, deploy troops, like deploy federal law enforcement and shoot and kill and maim and wound regular ass Minnesotans, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's only a matter of time until regular ass Minnesotans realize that you guys are just appeasing. You're playing a very dangerous game of appeasement with a fucking fascist tyrant. What do I always say? It's just as JFK once, in a prophetic statement, said, those who make peaceful resistance impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Okay? And if you are a local politician, if you are a local administrator, your goal is to not let it get to that point. Okay? Because the admin is accelerating in that direction. So if it is an inevitability that there will be federalized National Guard units, or if there will be military deployments in Minneapolis, you want to get ahead of that. Okay? You want to get ahead of that. I understand that there will be resistance from local law enforcement. I get it. Okay? I mean, this is where George Floyd was assassinated by a local law enforcement, by Derek Chauvin. Okay? This is literally ground zero for the Black Lives Matter protests that took place in 2020. I understand that. I get it. It's not like I'm, Mr. I love cops by any means. Okay? But the very fact that these guys who are supposed to be in charge of local affairs, the administrators that are in charge of maintaining law and order, are openly and readily admitting over and over again that they can't do anything, that their fucking hands are, their hands are tied. All this shit is dangerous because you're teaching the public a very dangerous lesson that you are not on their side. Or even if you are on their side, there's nothing you can do. You are saying it is an inevitability. It is an inevitability that you have to take matters into your own hands to defend yourself. What do you think happens in that situation? No, Tim has deployed the National Guard, but they have not given them a command to prosecute and arrest the ICE agents that are very clearly in violation of the law. This is yet another assassination that took place. This is also, as I was stressing to Keith Ellison, the Attorney General of the state yesterday, an opportunity for local law enforcement to win back some good favor with the crowd. An opportunity for them to actually say that they are representing the community, that they are a part of Minnesota, that they are Minnesotans themselves, and not another version of a domestic occupation upon the otherwise law-abiding Minnesotans. Okay?
To say that we can do this in the manner
This is a
that our
rather
team
naive
normally
take
does,
on the
which is
situation.
very
No,
strict
it's not. It's not. It's not. I know what they're going to do. You guys are misunderstanding my point here. You're misunderstanding my point here. I'm not saying that that is what cops are going to do. I'm not saying that that's what the National Guard is going to do. I'm saying that the very fact that they're not even deploying them in that direction, the very fact that local leaders are not deploying them in the direction of protecting the fucking civilians is wrong. Because, look, when local administrators deploy law enforcement to do like riot control, right? They do that because there's a calculation. The calculation is they're protecting some Minnesotans over others. Okay? Some Minnesotans that are otherwise like law-abiding small business owners, that's who they have in mind. They're protecting capital, right? But this is a very different situation than that. And the reason for why this is a very different situation is because small fucking business owners and all Minnesotans are now against ICE, an outside federal agency that has been deployed as a domestic occupation, a militarized federal agency that is basically invading Minnesota from the outside. In that situation, there's no one that you're doing this for other than the federal government. Okay? If you deploy cops and National Guard as riot police, you are basically siding with the federal government. If you're looking at this as like us versus them, in the past, during like Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot, even though the people were united, the protests escalated, especially because of the protests were directly against local law enforcement. And local law enforcement was very violent and very aggressive. And they escalated the protests by increasing the intensity in a way to stop the protests. They increased the intensity, they escalated to violence, and protests sometimes turned into riots. And then when those protests turned into riots, there were small businesses that were destroyed, things like that, things caught on fire, right? So then there was at least like a percentage of the population, and I'm giving you this from the perspective, not my perspective, but from the perspective of like local administrators, okay? From their position, they were like, oh, we have to maintain law and order. We have to side with the cops. We have to push this down. We have to stamp out the protests. We have to stamp out the discontent. Right now, there isn't anyone, certainly not a significant percentage of Minnesotans that are on the side of ICE. The overwhelming majority of Minnesotans are against ICE. The overwhelming majority of Minnesotans are against this federal incursion, okay? Or at least the overwhelming amount of people in Minneapolis are against this federal incursion. Even if you have like right-wing shitheads that are outside of Minneapolis in the suburbs or in the rural towns in Minnesota that think, no, ICE is actually doing the right thing, the overwhelming majority of people in Minneapolis, down to the fucking small business owners, see ICE presence as the real chaos and not the fucking protests. They're on the side of the protests. So when Tim Walz calls the National Guard against the interests, or National Guard to position against the lawful protesters, he is siding with the federal incursion. He is siding with federal this federal tyranny.
20 plus years at the BCA and a situation like that. There's certainly investigations for, national security and sensitive reasons we wouldn't have a line of sight into, nor would it be our position to ask for access to information in those particular instances. In instances where there's really concurrent federal and state jurisdiction over a matter, I'm not aware of an instance where that's ever happened. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you've been listening to Drew Evans, the superintendent of the Minnesota BCA, giving an update on their investigation. And two key takeaways from that to me were rather striking. One is he says when the BCA team arrived, the DHS agents on scene blocked them from entering, and they were blocked even after going to a judge to get a warrant to enter the scene, which is not something that law enforcement typically has to do to go to an active scene. And the second was that, to his knowledge, DHS is leading this investigation, not the FBI. And as you know, because we have covered a number of officer-involved shootings, it is very atypical for the agency that the officer worked for to lead the investigation.
I might even say unheard of. Drew Evans did also say we are in uncharted territory, that they have a long history of working side by side, the federal government. And so this is a very unusual situation. Like you mentioned earlier, we have law enforcement calling out other law enforcement, and that just doesn't normally happen. It's been a while since we've heard from President Trump. We do know that the Governor Walz, did speak with him today, or called the White House anyway, and we do have President Trump's statement right now, and this is what he said. This is the gunman's gun, loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What's that all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off?
Do you think there's a chance that the labor unions will try to push for a longer general strike? I don't know. You keep saying to use National Guard, but Trump could just federalize them. I mean, the National Guard situation only works if local law enforcement is first directed to defend the interests of the public. National Guard would be additional protection, because the number one fear, and I talk to a lot of Democrats, the fear here is they keep saying, oh, well, local law enforcement is outnumbered. There's 3,000 DHS agents versus however many, cops there are out there, right? They're oh, they'll get outnumbered and outgunned. And it's okay, well, then you have the National Guard. So that argument goes away, because I'm sorry, there is 0% chance if they actually got local law enforcement to abide by the local laws and start protecting the citizens and start protecting the citizens and actually try to arrest and apprehend ICE agents, okay? And they're backed by the National Guard, there would be 0% chance in that coordinated effort, there's 0% chance the fucking ICE agents are going to start shooting people, okay? It's not going to happen. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna
reported on that.
Gear up right now to go outside.
Years here, the fraud that is happening.
We're going to do Ice Watch, and we're going to go to the area of protest right now. I will be accompanied by some DSA cadres. Okay. Here, let me turn on this camera real quick. And I have to prep for that real quick. So here, I'll just keep playing this while
ICE is claiming to have
prep.
Arrested during this operation. We're already in our